Good evening, good evening, good evening, my brothers and sisters. Come on in to the dinner table. It's your brother Tony. I got some good soul food for you tonight. So come on in, come on in. You're going to enjoy this meal, this feast tonight that's hot and it's prepared just for you. It's going to go down real good in your soul, my brother, and in your soul, my sister. How you doing today, my brothers, and how you doing today, my sisters and my friends? For the friends, come on in. We got plenty of room around the dinner table so you can sit down and enjoy what we're going to feast on tonight based on what is on the menu. If this is your first time looking at this particular broadcast, if this is your first time at dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationship of that between a man and a woman that need God as the center part of the relationship. So that's where I come from. Now, if you believe in any other type of relationship, you have what is called a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do, but if you're here tonight, I basically talk about the relationship of that between a man and a woman that has God in the midst of the relationships. That's exactly where I come from. I want to be very clear. But as I was saying, I would like for you brothers and you sisters, I got some brothers I got two different platforms that I speak from. I speak from the tube and I also speak from the book. Some of you from the tube, you may notice that I'm talking to someone from the book, and vice versa. Some of you that are on book, you may see that I'm talking about to someone on the tube. So we're family here, my brothers and sisters. So come on in, come on in. It is dinner time, and we're about to get into this. Now, the topic that I'm about to talk about at the dinner table, you brothers and sisters, you need to be aware of this. Now, we're talking about the topic called marriage. Now, marriage is a controversial topic for different races, ethnic groups, different financial finance. I mean, no matter where you at, the word marriage or what the idea of marriage, it is hot. It's a hot commodity out there. Now, there are many points of view, my brothers and sisters, on the topic or subject of marriage. And marriage could be from, between a man and a woman. That's a point of view, a man and a woman. Another point of view is two men. Another point of view are two women. But there are really only 2 points of view when it comes to marriage, my brothers and sisters. Those 2 points of view is from God's point of view and man's point of view. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the different points of view from God's perspective and from man's perspective. As we discuss the topic at the dinner table, my brother Shipper, excuse me, as we discuss this topic tonight at the dinner table, my brother and sister, there are going to be probably some sharp disagreements of what I'm going to talk about. And then there might be a few people that are going to see my point of view. Okay. So there are going to be some sharp points of view that don't agree with what I'm going to say. So you have your own. If you don't want to agree with me, my brother and sister, you have what is called a free will. You could decide on what you're going to do. And then there are going to be a few that see my point of view. Excuse me. Now, on this live broadcast tonight, it came to my attention, some of you that are on the book, you may not could put your comments down here. This is what I got from this site that I'm using to talk to you on the book and on the tube. Now, some of you that are on the book, it was brought to my attention that there's a possibility that your comments will not show, okay? But I still want you here, okay? Those of you that are on the book, I still want you here, even if you can't make no comment. But if you can make a comment, you could try, but there's no guarantee tonight. And then there are some that's on the tube. There's nothing wrong with their comment, but I want you all to know I'm talking on two different platforms, okay? Now, with that said, we're about to talk about this topic at the dinner table. How long should it take for a man to ask a woman to marry him? Now we're going to go to God's word first, my brothers and sisters. And from God's word, it's, it's as it is written in John 14:3. Again, John 14:3. John 14:3. And Jesus is doing the talking, okay? Jesus is doing the talking. It said, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. And where I am, there you shall be also. Again, Jesus is doing the talking. It say, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will again receive you to myself, and where I am, there you may be also. So a man, when it comes to relationship, a man should follow the steps of Jesus when it comes to a relationship. Because as you know, my brother and sister, when you look at the Bible, it parallels a man relationship with the woman as Christ's relationship with the church. So back to what Jesus said in John 14:3, he said, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, and where I am, there you shall be also. So what is it saying? If a man is serious, is a man is committed to move towards the covenant part of the relationship, a man should have somewhere prepared for the woman. He should have somewhere prepared for the woman. And when he has someone prepared for the woman, not only someone prepared for the woman, but that man needs to have himself prepared. Okay, he needs to have himself prepared. And so when the man have himself prepared and he have a place for that woman, then that man, he should move from the serious mode to the commitment mode to the covenant mode to bring the woman into where he's at. So the man should follow the steps of the Lord Jesus. Now, we're going to make 6 points, my brothers and sisters. We're going to make 6 points tonight. Now, the first point, the first 3 points, this is directed to women, okay? This is directed to women. Now, the first point, and we're going back to the topic, how long should it take a man to ask a woman to marry him? And as I said earlier, my brother and sister, I'm on 2 different platforms. I'm on the book and I'm on the tube. Those of you that are on the book, you may have a problem making your comments, but you can try to make your comments, because on this particular screen that I'm on, it came to my attention that some that are on the book, they may have a problem making comments, but those of you that are on the tube, you may not have no problem. Okay, so I need to say that again. Okay, so I do know some people are here from the book, and I do know some people are here from the tube. But getting back into what I'm talking about, how long should it take for a man to ask a woman to marry him? There are 3 points that I'm going to direct to women first, and then there are 3 points that I'm going to direct to the men. Now, first of all, sisters, the very first thing, and I always say this to women, a woman should have expectations during the birth, or to say it differently, what type of relationship she desires to be in. That's the first thing that a woman should think about. What type of relationship do I want to be in? So, sister, you're going to either be or have a desire to be in a serious, committed, covenant relationship, or you want to be, if you don't desire to cross those 3 hurdles, being serious, committed in a covenant relationship, the only thing a woman is doing is shortchanging herself. You actually shortchange yourself, because if you just want to be in a relationship that go on and on and on for years, eventually you're going to get tired of it. Because most women, I didn't say all, but most women desire to get married. I didn't say all, but most women desire to get married. So sisters, if you desire to get married and you currently are not married, and a man approach you, like I always say, A woman should say a silent prayer to the Lord and ask the Lord, why is this man coming to me in my presence? Because, sister, you don't know whether the man is from God or you don't know whether the man is from Satan. You do not know. So that's why you have to ask God. You cannot go on your, how shall I say it? You cannot go by your female intuition. How you doing, Sister Kirkpatrick? You can't go by your female intuition when it comes to a man. If you want to be guided right, you need to go by the Lord. How you doing, Sister Kirkpatrick? And how you doing Sister Martini? So welcome to the dinner table, my sisters. If you all just coming in, I don't know whether you heard me say this or not, but tonight on the menu is how long should it take a man to ask a woman to marry him? That's where we're at. So, sisters, at the beginning of the relationship, you got to know within yourself what type of where you want to be at in the relationship. Not only from the man point of view, you got to understand where do you want to go in a relationship. Now, sister, God, you got to understand why God created the woman. The Bible clearly say that the man was not created for the woman, but the woman was created for the man. That's what the Bible say. This is not what Tony say, but the Bible clearly say that the woman was, the man was not created for the woman, but the woman was created for the man. When you go back to the book of Genesis, the Bible also show where God seen that the man was alone, so he created a woman to be the helpmeet. And it's clearly documented in the Bible. This is not just my saying, but it's clearly documented in the Bible, okay? So if it clearly are documented in the Bible, sister, and you desire to be in a relationship with a man, the thing about it, where do you want to end up in a relationship? You cannot get in a relationship, sister, just seeing how far we can go. You shouldn't get in a relationship just seeing how far we can go. That you should not do. Secondly, if a woman is looking for a relationship to end up in a marriage, she should evaluate the status mentally and emotionally silently after a short period of time. So what that's saying, if you are a single woman and you decide to embark on a relationship with a man, and if a man say that he's serious, if the man said that he's committed to you, what else come after being serious and what else come after being committed? You got to understand that something have to come after that. You cannot leave a question mark right there. You understand? So at the beginning of a relationship, if a woman desires to be married at the end of the relationship, the woman should mentally and time, after a very short period of time, that woman needs to see where is the relationship going. It should not take over 1 year to do this evaluation. It should not take over 1 year. And I'm being generous because I'm going to get to the man part first about when men know what they're going to do, okay? But as for you, sister, it should not go beyond a year when you evaluate the relationship mentally and emotionally in silence. You understand? In silence, you need to evaluate because you don't want the relationship to go on for years and years and years, and you're not getting what you desire. Because if you continue to let the relationship go on for years and years and years, you're going to play yourself. And I know you don't want to play yourself. You understand? I know you don't want to play yourself. So therefore, you need to do that silent evaluation. And after you do your silent evaluation, especially if the man have been saying that he said he love you, right? So if a man say that he love you, how far does it go? You see, if a man decide to love a woman, he's going to go the distance with that woman. He's not going to do things in short steps. So if a man is really into you, sister, he's going to, in the love language that you're going to always hear is we, us, and our. That man is going to make you a part of his life, which I'm about to get to shortly, okay? He's going to make you a major part of his life. So within a year time, sister, you need to do your evaluation. As a matter of fact, you need to be very strategic, and you need to study what the man say, and not only what he say, but what that man does. He said he love you. So what does love do? Love is a verb. So if love is a verb, it shows what is called action. So a man could tell you a whole bunch of stuff, but what about the action? The action is supposed to weight be even with the words. Because you see, it's just like a scale. The man, here go the man words on one side of the scale, and here go his action. It needs to equal out. So just like Jesus said some years ago, Jesus said you could tell a tree by the fruit it bears. What type of fruit is this man bearing? In the Old Testament, Elijah, not Elijah. Yes, it was Elijah, I believe. I think it was Elijah. I hope that I'm not wrong, because I don't want to guide you wrong. But in the Old Testament, there was this verse that you could tell an Ethiopian by the color of his skin. Now let me retract that. An Ethiopian cannot change the color of his skin. Neither can a leopard change its spots. So it is what it is. And Maya Angelou, she made a statement, and you are familiar with the great poet Maya Angelou. She said, when a person shows you who he or she is, believe it. So what is that saying? You have to believe what you see, sister. And how do you believe what you see? You need the Spirit of God to show you. The Spirit of God, if there's a part of the Spirit of God, you have wisdom, you have knowledge, you have understanding, you have discernment. So the discernment part, so the discernment part, you're supposed to, if you have the Spirit of God, God discernment going to show you whether this man is real or whether he's a counterfeit. Sister Martina said, my boyfriend action matches words so far, but it's still within the year mark. So now I guess I just continue to observe. Okay. We're going to thank you for sharing that, Sister Martina. Thank you so much for sharing that. So now, when it comes to the man, remember what's on the menu. How long should it take a man to ask a woman to marry him? Let's keep that in mind. Okay. It takes before I say that, let me tell you this one more thing, sisters. After you observe this man's words and his behavior, it's time to have a face-to-face, non-distraction meaning with him face-to-face. What that means? Coming up within a year's time, if this man been telling you he been loving you all this while, and he been doing all these great things for you, but he still have not moved, your relationship have not moved to the engagement period, and the engagement period haven't led to marriage, because you can actually go beyond, you can bypass the engagement part and get married. But by the end, but within a year time, you need to have this face-to-face, non-distraction meeting with the man. When I said non-distraction, you don't want nobody. You want to have this serious face-to-face. You need to turn off these cell phones. You need to turn off all type of distraction, because you need to have an eyeball to eyeball conversation with this man and say something like this. You say that you love me. You've been treating me well. You say you serious about me, and you say that I'm your woman and you my man. So you say. So if you say you love me, and you say that you're serious about me, and you say that we are in a committed relationship, what date do you have in mind? That's what you have to say. What date do you have in mind? You don't want to leave that open. You need to know a date, because if you desire to be in a covenant relationship, you don't want to waste your time, because time is an important commodity, and when 1 second go by, you cannot get it back. So, sister, if you desire to be in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, you don't have no time to play. And I have said this part early in the show. There are some of you that are on the book, come on 2 different platforms. If you're on the book, you may not make no comments tonight, because I got some feedback saying that some of those that watching me from the book, they may not be able to make comments, but you still can see me. But if you're on the tube, you can see me. Sister Kirkpatrick and Sister Martina, are you on the tube or are you on the book watching me? What platform are you looking at me from? Are you on the tube or on the book? One of you can answer that question if you choose to. Now, sister, when you have this face-to-face, non-distraction meeting with the man, you need to, okay, Sister Martina said you too. Thank you for that. You need to know for sure. Thank you, Sister Kirkpatrick, too. You need to know what this man's intentions are at the year's mark. And I'm being generous, okay? I'm being very, very generous. So if this man is wasting your time, even though you feel like that's the love of your life, how long are you going to allow it to drag on? How long are you going to allow it to drag on? You can't let it continue to drag on. That you cannot. Now, we're going to move to the man's part. Remember what's on the menu. How long should it take for a man to ask a woman to marry him? Now, the man knows what type of relationship he wants from a woman early in the relationship. Okay? A man knows, and I always say that a man knows what type of relationship he knows from the beginning. Time that man start dialoguing with you, because communication is verbal and it's non-verbal. Brothers, when you approach a woman, and you know I'm telling the truth, we know basically how far we want to go with a woman. And we put them in those categories. You know the categories I say is temporary, long-term, and it's permanent. Temporary is somebody that you might see every now and then, or you might not see them no more. It basically just quote unquote for the fun of it. Temporary, temporary long-term is the man may say he's serious, he may say he committed, but he's not going to marry you. He may live with you, you may live with him, but he's not going to marry you. And then the final category, that's the permanent, whereas a man say, you my wife. You understand? So a man know what type of relationship that he wants from a woman early in the relationship. He may not reveal it early, but that's where the woman need to have discernment. That's why you need the Lord in your life, so the Lord can shine the spotlight on this man to see where this man coming from. Whether this man see me as a wife or not. And the thing about it, a woman, sister, do you see yourself as a wife? Are you prepared to be a wife? I got to go back to the sister. Are you prepared to be a wife? If you're not prepared to be a wife, why would you expect for a man to view you as a wife if you're not prepared to be a wife? You got to ask yourself that question. Are you wife material? Are you a virtuous woman? And like I always say, God does not put our relationships together. He does not put our relationship together, but he does put a few together, but not all relationships together. Now, once a man look at a woman and he decides within himself that she's the one, How does a man decide that a woman is the one? This man that I'm talking about, I'm not talking about any man. Even though you heard the topic on the menu, how long does it take a man to ask a woman to marry him? What type of man am I talking about? That's the question. I'm talking about a spiritual driven man. That's the type of man I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a worldly man. I'm talking about a spiritual driven man. A spiritual driven man, he recognized that God brought the woman into his view. And when the spiritual driven man sees that God brought this woman into his view, he knows that she's the one. Because the Spirit of God reveals it to that man that she's the one. Even though that man could have been dating other women or whatever he was doing with other women, all women are not the one. It's going to be one that's the one. And let me tell you this, brothers and sisters, this is the truth. A man could be dating several women, but he does not view them all the same. Even a man that's over the Middle East, and then some of those men in the United States that claim that they want to have a lot of women for wives. Sister, you need to understand that if you are in a relationship, this just a freebie that I'm about to say. Sister, if you are in a relationship with a man and you know that he's dealing with another woman or women, one of those women are higher on the priority chart than the others. A man cannot love more than one woman on the same level. Always remember that. A man cannot love and show affection on the same level to all women. If a man have two women, one of the women are going to be shortchanged. Always remember that. If a man even have more than one woman, one of them going to get shortchanged. One of them is going to be the favor in that man's eyesight. You got to remember that. Now back to, if the woman truly is the one, and God reveals to this man that this woman is the one, that man, he's going to promote that woman high on his priority list. You understand? And she will know it. Not only will she feel it, she will know it. Because if a woman is the one, she's going to notice that right behind the man's relationship with God through his son Jesus Christ is going to be that woman. How you doing? This Jami, that's Jeimi. How you doing? Thank you. So you got to understand this. When a man chooses the one that God brings to him, he's going to promote that woman high on his list. There are not going to be no other relationship greater than that woman in that man's life. So, sister, you could get a good indication where you are in that man's life when he includes you in his life. If a man includes you in his life, you are going to be known. If you're going to be known, because guess what? He will not hide you. That man, he doesn't mind who knows that he's in a relationship with you. He's going to be visual. He's going to be visual with you. He's not going to keep you private. He's not going to be one of those men that say, I like to keep my relationship private. No, it's just like this. When a man or a woman is in a relationship with Jesus, Jesus wanted to be public. If you don't let your relationship be known to the world that you have a relationship with Jesus, that's just like you're ashamed of him. Jesus said, if you deny me before men, I will deny you before my Father and the angels. So Jesus himself want to be acknowledged. You understand? Okay, Jamie. Okay, Jamie. Pronounce Jamie. Okay, Jamie. Uh, Jesus want to be acknowledged. You cannot have no private relationship with Jesus. You can't have no secret, hid away relationship with Jesus. So if Jesus does not want to be hid, and man is made in the image and glory of God, and the woman is made in the glory of the man, do you see do you understand what I'm saying? So listen to this. The woman, if a man hides you, if he hides you, that's an indication that you're not the one. If a man does not put you high on his priority list, if this man don't, when he making his life plans and stuff, if you don't hear the man say it's us, it's we, and it's our. If you hear that man mostly talk about me, myself, and I, you're not high on his priority list. If this man does not introduce you to the people that are close to him, that's very important. If a man introduce you to the closest people, what are the closest people to this man? His family, and then his friends. His family first, then his friends, and everybody else. Sister, if the man is a godly man, we talk about family, okay? Now, you see, I know some of you were thinking about flesh, your mama, your brother, your sisters, and all that. Sister, if a man is a follower of the Lord and he goes to public worship and he call himself a man of God, and this man see you as his wife, that man is going to want to introduce you to his spiritual family. Who is his spiritual family? His spiritual family is those that are born from above, from God. Not only his fleshly family, his mom, his dad, his sister, brother, and all that, but his spiritual family. He's not going to hide you. It's going to be wide open. Now, at this particular time, some women would say, well, I ain't never met his family. I ain't never met his friend. Let me tell you this. Sometimes when a man does not carry you around his family friend, all the time it might not be hiding. It could be where he trying his best to see, can you get yourself together? And what do I mean by that? Your representation. He know that if you got a potty mouth, like you cussing, all that kind of stuff, he know how his family friends are, and he take you around them, and you have a potty mouth. He's not gonna want you around them because they're gonna say, where you get her from? All she does is curse, and she loud, and she just out there. How you behave. He may want to take you around, but if you behave in a way where you like to get stoned, when I said stoned, you like to get drunk, you like to get high, and his people are not into it, and his friend not into it, you got to understand, you're going to represent him if this man asks you to marry him. He might really like you, but he waiting for you to do something, maybe. He might actually genuinely like you, but you are not getting yourself together. And another thing, too, you got to understand, I talk about how you talk and your behavior and how you dress. If you don't dress in a respectable and conscious way, if you like to show everything, he might not want to take you around the family friend if you like to show everything, because he know how his family friends are. He might can't take you to a ball or something like that, or some type of high-end place. He can't take you based on how you dress. Because if you dress for the streets, and he know if he take you around his colleagues, or if this man got a reputation, he take you around certain people, and you dress for the streets the people, they're gonna look at him in a certain way because you supposed to represent him. And he could actually like you. But he waiting for you to get your potty mouth together. He waiting for you to get your behavior together. If you act wild and you like to do the thing like twerking and stuff, or how you dress. If you don't dress appropriate, he might not want to take you around. He might actually like you, but he waiting for you to get together. But heavily on the other hand, a lot of time, if a man cannot go out publicly with you, I'm going to just put it like this. If a man cannot go out public with you, that should tell you something right there. If you all in the same city and he can't go somewhere with you in the same city, that tell you a lot. Now you all thinking, saying, what all this got to do when should a man marry me? I'm going to get to it. Just hold on. Now, another thing, if a man is serious, if a man is committed, he said he loves you and committed, guess what? He's going to set a date. He's not going to play around with you. He's going to set a date, and he's not going to play around with you. Because it's something that's going to be going on the inside of man. He's going to be thinking about his, especially a spiritual man, he's going to be thinking about his purpose for God. That's what he's going to be thinking about, his purpose for God and the woman that's in his life. Because you see, if a man is following the Lord, he got to view you as an asset. He can't view you as a liability. So therefore, he got to view you as an asset. And I must say this again, those of you that are on the book, I apologize, but I know some of you all want to make comments. You can make some comments on my page after this show is over with. You know, you can put all your comments there, but this platform that I'm on, for some reason, they let me know that it's a problem with the book where some of you all probably won't be able to make no comment. But those of you that are on the tube, you can make comment. I'm sorry. You know how that technical difficulty go, but like I said, those of you that are on the book, you can make your comments on my page. Because I'm going to save this live broadcast. It's going to be on my page, and you can make your comment there. I apologize. It's not me. But back to what I was saying about setting the date. If a man is serious and committed to the relationship, he's going to set a date. And he's not going to go into year 2 without a date. And I'm being general. No man, a godly man, is going to go into year 2 without setting a date. Because it doesn't take a man that long to know whether or not you're wife material or not. There are a lot of women right now. You call yourself, you dating this man. You say that this man is your man. You may have an engagement ring on, but you don't have a date. So if you got an engagement ring and you don't have a date, all that ring is not an engagement ring. And I hate to bust some of you sister bubbles. It's not an engagement ring. It's a shut up ring. So always remember that. If a man gave you what appeared to be an engagement ring and he have not given you no date, you all have not agreed on a date, that's not an engagement ring. You went into the jewelry store and it said engagement ring. But the real meaning behind it is not an engagement ring. It's a shut up ring. And he got you believing that y'all about to get married. But the discernment have told you, sisters, something, right? You got a ring. You done got all on public, the media and stuff, public media, and you flaunting that ring. A whole bunch of you all see some of these women, they like to flash those rings on social media and stuff, right? but they don't even have a date. So some of you sisters that are single, don't envy those women and don't get jealous, because the majority of them that show you rings on social media and stuff, they don't even have a date. When I say a date, they don't even have a wedding date. So don't feel bad. A lot of that stuff be for show. And a lot of women that get the engagement ring and stuff, they just want something that look good, that costs a lot, that don't have really no meaning behind it. So those you that there are a lot of women that get married and they don't even have a high price or engagement ring on their finger, but they get married before a lot of women that got those high price rings on their finger. It depends on the motive for the man. So if a man is very serious, he is going to set a date and he's going to talk to you about the date. And it doesn't have to be a year. Now, how long should it take a man to ask a woman to marry him? Let's look at it from Jesus' viewpoint. Let's look at it from Jesus' viewpoint in a relationship with Jesus, okay? When Jesus said, I'm going to go back to the beginning. In John 14:3, John 14:3, Jesus said, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, and where I am, ye shall be also. So you see what Jesus is doing? Jesus is prepared. He's prepared, first of all, then he go to prepare. Then he come back for you. He letting you know step by step by step. That's what a man's supposed to do. He's supposed to be prepared. He's supposed to prepare a place for a woman. He's supposed to bring the woman where he's at, and you're supposed to be one. If Jesus, look at it this way. If Jesus is in a relationship with you, Jesus don't want no partial relationship. Jesus wants you all 100% in. Jesus don't want you lukewarm. He don't want you hot. He don't want you cold. He'll rather for you to be hot or cold. He don't want you to play the middle. That's what some women, you allow some men to play the middle with you. A godly man is not going to play the middle with you. You're going to know that man's intent. He's going to tell you. He's not going to play mental games with you. He's not going to play with your emotions. He's going to be straight to the point. He's going to let you know, because he is a man that got a purpose for life. He's from the Lord, and he sees you as an asset. Godly men don't want no woman that's going to be a liability. God don't even bring no woman to no man that's a liability. God going to always bring a woman to a man that's an asset. God do not bring liability to a man. God does not put a man in debt, because God believe in a man being free. So when God bring a woman into the man like she is an asset, and both of them are going to be free as far as what they do for the purpose of God's kingdom. Because remember, when a man select a woman that God bring to him, it's bigger than their marriage. That man and woman, they got to represent. That man and woman got to be about their lifestyle, supposed to reflect the lifestyle or an example of Christ's relationship with the church. Most worldly men and women that get married, it's all about them. And you have seen a whole bunch of married couple or couples on social media. It's all about them. They want to show you stuff like where they live at and all that kind of stuff. It's all about them. They never think about their relationship supposed to represent the Lord and the church. Most relationship doesn't do it. Most relationships are for show. Most relationship that you see, my brother and sister, they are for show. They want to show off. They want to show you their accomplishments. They want to do it in a bragging way. They want to say, look at us. We are a power couple. We are popular. We have it going on. It's all about them. But a man and a woman about the Lord Jesus, it's going to be more than the man and the woman. They are going to live a lifestyle that reflect the Lord in their life. Because remember, It started with the man. It never started with the woman. It started with the man. When God brought Eve to Adam, you know what? Adam did not complain that he was alone. He did not complain to God, I'm alone. He did. The Bible don't say nothing like that. God said that it's not good for man to be alone. So he brought Eve to Adam. That's how God does it today. He will bring the right woman to the man. The man does not know who she is. If you notice this, Adam did not know who Eve was. Isaac did not know who Rebekah was. Boaz did not know who Ruth was. Those are three couples that I named. God strategically planned for that man and that woman to meet in eternity before the world was created. So, sister, let me tell you this. And brother, let me tell you this. Brothers, when you select a woman, when God bring the right woman to you, it did not happen by chance. It was not no good luck. It was not no hookup. God was working behind the scene in your life and that woman's life for him to bring that woman to you. When God brought that woman to you, brother, that's how you found her. God did all the leg work. You really didn't do that much. Your thing, brother, you were supposed to be delighting in the Lord. And while you delighting in the Lord and doing your stuff for the Lord seen that you was lonely. Not lonely. No, not lonely. I'm going to change that word. The Lord seen that you was alone. He know that he had a relationship with you, but the Lord seen that you was alone. So he brought this woman into your life to be your helpmeet. And this woman, when this woman came into your life to be your helpmeet, brother, this woman, she was about advancing the purpose in your life. She was about what we going to do. You see, when God bring a woman into the man's life, this woman is always, she's coming in to give. She's not coming in to take. When a woman come into a man's life to take, that's of Satan. Because the Bible said God loveth a cheerful giver. So God is not going to, that's what this man see. In Ephesians 5:25, Ephesians 5:25, it said, husband, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. You see, a man, when he see a woman that's going to be his wife, he see this woman like Christ see the church. And how Jesus gave himself up for the church. This man say, I'm willing to give up my life for this particular woman. See, a man got to see where he's going to give up his life for you. Even when I say give a life, I'm talking about to die for you. And then in Revelation 3:20 said, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and he will sup with me and he with me. Listen to it again. Revelation 3:20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hears my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and he will sup with me and he with me. Now, when the right man come to you, sister, listen to this. When the right man come to you, he's going to knock on your door. When I said knock on your door, I'm not talking about where you actually live. I'm talking about he's going to knock on the door of your heart. He's going to knock. He's not going to force his way in. He's going to knock. And you're going to know it within your heart. And when you know it within your heart, you're going to be listening to the words of his voice. And when you be listening to the words of his voice, the Lord is going to be coaching and guiding that man what to say to you. And that's when you hear the Lord's voice, you're going to hear the Lord's voice in that man's voice, because the Spirit of the Lord is in that man. And when the Spirit of the Lord is in that man, you're going to be able to see, you're going to be able to hear the Lord's voice in that man. So then after that, you're going to open up your heart to him. You, sister, you're going to have a sense of peace. Brother, when God bring the right woman to you, you're going to have a sense of peace. You know why you're going to have a sense of peace, brother and sister? Because the Lord is in you, brother, and the Lord is in you, sister. So both of you going to have a sense of peace. That's what you're going to, as Sister Jamie said, what you think of a man engaged in church in front of everyone and not honoring the lady with a ring. Now, the ring. The ring, it just represents the intent of the relationship. But the real marriage, and I need you sisters to understand it, the real marriage is not the ring. The ring is symbolic. Understand? The ring is symbolic. It's symbolic. It represents the relationship. That's all. Like the marriage license. The marriage license is an indication that you're married. But even if you got that paper on your wall, you know you're married. You see, the paper does not have life in it. But if you're in the United States, and depending on what state you need that. You need that marriage license. The proof of the marriage is the meeting of the mind, the meeting of the heart, where the meeting of the spirit, the soul, and the body, and everything before God. But let me tell you, dear brothers, over here in the United States, the Western world, women like rings. Rings are traditional. Rings are traditional. How you doing, Sister Marie? Rings are traditional. But let me tell you, dear brother, when it comes to a ring, do not put yourself in debt to get an engagement ring or wedding ring. If it's better to get a ring and you use a lot of that other money, like you're going to put a down payment on a home or something like that. So a wedding is for one day. A marriage is for more than one day. Listen to the difference. A wedding is for one day. A marriage is for more than one day. I'm going to tell you, some of you brothers and sisters, this too. How you doing, Sister Marie? I'm late, but I'm going to rewatch. That's okay. Thank you, sister. Let me tell you this. Now, if you want to put a whole bunch of money into a wedding, if you can do it and you're not going to put yourself in debt, listen to me carefully. If you could do it and you're not going to put yourself in debt, more power to you. But why would you put a whole bunch of money into a wedding and go into debt? Why would you do that? If you plan on having a big wedding, save the money and go ahead and pay the bill. So after the wedding, you won't have no bill to deal with, because you see, the day you have that wedding and say, I do, it's not no wedding no more. You're married. That's when it get real. Once you say I do, and you go past the little wedding stuff and all that ceremony, nothing wrong with the ceremony. But don't get broke doing it. If you're going to spend $10K and stuff for a wedding, my brothers and sisters, don't do that. How you doing, Sister Flo? Sister Flo, let me tell you this. Sister Flo is on the tube. I mean, no, Sister Flo is not on the tube. Sister Flo is on the book. Sister Flo, question. There were some problems on the book where some people could not make comments. Were you able to be at the dinner table and watch what was going on at the dinner table, but you could not make no comments? That's what I want to know. So Sister Flo, I see her right now. I see her writing right now, and she's on the book. So Sister Flo, are you just coming in or you been in? Which one? Are you just coming in or you been watching and you was able to make your comment? But as I was saying, brothers and sisters, listen carefully. If you're going to spend a whole lot of money on a wedding and there's a house that you need to do, be sensible and use a large part of that money for your house, because you're going to live in that house for more than one day. You understand? You're going to live in that house for more than one day. Be sensible, my brothers and sisters. But back to the original question. How long should it take for a man to ask a woman to marry him? Okay, thank you, Sister Flo. I see all my comments and other comments. I've been here. Okay, now I see you all coming in. I see my mother coming in, and I see Sister Flo. Thank you all for, this was beyond my control, my sisters and brothers. I did get an indication that some people from Facebook earlier may not make no comment, but I'm glad to see you all in now. I'm glad that you all was able to still be at the dinner table. But anyway, it should not take no man. Listen to me carefully, sister, before I get out of here. And the brothers. It doesn't take no man that long to ask a woman to marry him. Sisters, I'm going to say over and over again, we know whether or not you are the one. A godly man, let me tell you what a godly man look at. Listen to me carefully what a godly man look at. A godly man, he looks at whether or not by choosing you, is he going to be unequally yoked? Because he knows that God does not want, he knows that God doesn't want him to be in an unequally yoked relationship, number one. Another thing, he's going to look at your family and your friends. So not only your relationship with God and what are you going to be an asset to him, he's going to look at your family and your friends, because he knows that your family and your friends got a bearing on your thinking. He knows that you're going to run some stuff by your family and your friends, especially your friends. Especially your friend, your family, but you're going to share more with your friends than your family. If this man, a godly man, and he see the women listen to me, sister, I'm trying to help you. If this man, if you got some girlfriends, sister, he's going to look at your girlfriends and how they behave in that. He may not see that you acting that way, but those women that you hang around, they know more about how you are when you're not around him. But this is what that man knows. Because the Bible clearly say something, and I'm paraphrasing this, by bad company corrupts good manners, okay? And you all have heard this phrase before, birds of a feather flock together. So, sister, if you hanging out with questionable women that run the streets and do questionable things, he's going to want to know. And sometimes you may go back and say some stuff about what your girlfriend do. If you don't do it, he may observe you all together. And he's going to observe those women together, and you're not acting like them while you're around, while he's around. Understand? So he knows that if he was not around, you will be right there with your girlfriends. If he see your girlfriend and they run men and they play games on men and they do a whole bunch of Christmas things, he knows, and you could deny this all you want to, sister, but this man know you doing something what they doing. Because see, people do not hang together that does not have nothing in common. You understand that, sister? What the women that you hang around with, that man gonna get another indication of how you are when he's not around you. If, like I say, if you got some friends, sister, and they like to do a whole bunch of drinking and twerking and all that kind of stuff and loud and stuff, but when he's around you and you're not doing that, he's gonna wonder, why are you hanging with those type of women? Another thing, sister, those women that you hang around, if this man planning on being in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship with you, and you hang around a lot of women that going through men, if you been in a relation, if you got friends that living with men, if you got friends that doing a whole bunch of stuff and all that kind of crazy stuff, he knows that you're a part of it. Because like I said, people don't hang together unless they got something in common. Wise men walk with wise men. Wise women walk with wise women. Fools be with fools. You see, the thing about it, a wise person can pretend to be a fool, but a fool cannot pretend to be wise. Think about that. A wise person can pretend to be a fool, but a fool can't pretend to be wise. So that man seeing what type of relationship that you have with the Lord, that man seeing whether you're an asset, he's watching you and your family. He's watching how you talk. He's watching how you behave. He's watching how you dress. Why are all these important to this man? Because this man, a godly man, he has a purpose in life. He knows that he's the image and glory of God. And therefore, he knows that you're going to represent him. It's something that I said last night. And some of you remember what I said last night. This is what I said last night. If the man is a movie star, if he's popular or whatever, if he's a man, a mover or shaker or something like that, the world, not only spiritual people, but the world gonna look at the woman. But they're gonna look at the woman. If the man is a star, a lot of you familiar with Denzel Washington, right? You familiar with Denzel Washington? If Denzel Washington walking down the red carpet and he have his wife by him, I don't even know her name, but Miss Washington. If Miss Washington walking by Denzel could have on a tuxedo and some tennis shoes. He's still Denzel. Right, sister? He's still Denzel. He looks so good. He looks so good. He's still Denzel, right? But they're gonna look at his wife and see how she dressed, how she talked, how she carried herself in public. And if she talk whack, if she act whack, if she dressed inappropriately, they're gonna talk about her. And you know what they're gonna say about Denzel? Where did he get her from? That's what they're gonna say. Brothers, when you don't have the right woman in your life, and it's not for show, listen to me, brother, it's not for show. But if you have an inappropriate woman in your life, your family, your friends, your colleagues, and everybody, they're gonna know where you get her from. And they're not gonna be saying where you get her from in a good way. So you got to be careful what type of woman you have. And so you got to be careful what type of man you attach yourself to. It does not take a man that long to ask a woman to marry him. Now, a godly man do not want a woman to get on her knees and ask him to marry her. That's foolishness. That's worldly. If a woman get on her knee and asks a man to marry her, that is foolishness. How you doing, Sister Well? That's so foolish. It's nothing cute about it. Nothing cute about it. And let me tell you something. This might step on some people's toes, but I must say what I got to say. A man get on his knee to ask a woman to marry him. That's not appropriate. Let me tell you why that's not appropriate. Because the man only bowed the knee to God. You don't see nowhere, you don't read nowhere in the Bible where men get on their knees and for a woman to marry him. Because you see, the man's supposed to be the head. Only the knee get bowed to Christ. Let me tell you why I know that. Because when you read in the Bible, when some men wanted to bend the knees to angels, when an angel pop up on some men, after they get shook up, they want to bow to those angels. You know what those angels normally tell those men? Don't do that. Don't do that. Go to Acts, my brother and sister. Go to the book of Acts. And it's this guy named Cornelius. Read about Cornelius. Not only that, don't do that. Don't even do that. Go to the book of Revelation and read the early part of Revelation. Angels do not want men to bow down to them. Listen to me. Unless you Satan. Satan wants that because Satan is a counterfeit of God. Satan wants you to bend your knee to him. The only knee a man bow down to is the Lord Jesus. He bent his knee for no other man, no other woman. Now, a man, he could do things in a better way. That's worldly, get on your knees. It's whack for a woman to do it. And like I say, some of you think it's cute when a man get on his knees and look up in a woman's eye and say, marry me. She's not the Lord. And I tell you what you think Jesus think about that when a man get on his knee for a woman? What you think about that? Do you think that's okay with Jesus? Here comes somebody. This person named Past 36 phone. Let me go ahead and block this person. I blocked that person because this person trying to get some free time at the dinner table. So I went ahead and blocked that person. So anyway, when a man asks a woman to marry him, he only bend the knee to the Lord Jesus. Only Jesus. You could do anything else, but don't bend the knee. Because you see, when you bend the knee, what you're doing, brother, the world ain't gonna see it the way. What you're doing, brother, is it's a form of worship. Bending the knee, my brother and sister, it's a form of worship. You, brother, the woman is not an idol. If you bend your knee to a woman, that's an idol. You put her on a pedestal. Sister, when you bend your knee to a man, you put him on a pedestal. The only one that belongs on the pedestal is Lord Jesus. The Bible clearly say that every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus is the Lord. It's at every knee. If you don't bend your knee now to Jesus, if you say no Jesus, you're going to bend it on that one day. Everybody, whether you believe in the Lord or not, you're going to bend that knee one day to Jesus. If you have arthritis, you better try your best to bend the knee to Jesus some kind of way. But you're going to bend the knee. Even people that going to hell, before you go to hell, if they in hell right now, and they go before Jesus at the white throne judgment, and he opened up those books and go over their life with them. And he opened up this other book, the book of life, and their names ain't in there. And Jesus said, depart from me. But by the way, you going to bend your knee to Jesus. It ain't no ifs and buts about it. Believers and unbelievers, if you're a believer, it's best to believe in Jesus right now. Bend your knee to him now. Because when Jesus comes, you're going to sure be bending your knee then. But you're going to be in a glorified body. But if you don't believe in Jesus, you think you're going to stand there in front of Jesus and you're not going to be, you're going to bend the knee to Jesus, whether you, especially if you're going to hell, you still got to bend that knee at least one time to him. Because you're going to acknowledge that he's the Lord. Jesus is not no idol. Jesus is God's son. Everybody bend to Jesus. Jesus don't want you bending to nobody. Jesus don't want you bending for nobody. It's nothing cute about it. Brother, ask Jesus, do he mind if you bend your knee to a woman? Ask Jesus and see what Jesus say. Sister, ask Jesus, is it okay if you bend your knee to a man? Ask Jesus and see, will he give you a pass on that? He will not. But how long should it take a man to ask a woman to marry him? A man should be asking a woman to marry him within a year's time. That is, a man should be asking a woman within a year's time to marry him. I'm going to say it again. A man should be asking a woman within a year's time to marry him if he claimed to love the woman. If he claimed to love the woman, a year time. If he say, I'm serious about you, a year's time. If he committed to you, a year's time. If a man tell a woman, I got to learn more about you, scratch him off. I'm not ready. Scratch him off. Sister, you don't have time for foolishness. You see, a man of God, he is sound-minded. He's a man that can't make up his mind. That's a double-minded man, sister. You don't need no double-minded man. You need a man that can think clearly, a man that's focused, a man that want to include you in his life, a man that got you right behind the Lord himself. You, sister, you got to see that this man is not going to have nobody in front of you but Jesus. You got to see that clearly, sister. If you ask, you see that woman right there, you ask her, who do she come? Ask my wife, is she number one to me? Y'all got her Facebook page and stuff. Her name Taquessa. Taquusia. Taquessa. If you don't know her name, you look on my page and you see her name. Every time you see a picture of me, you always see me adding her in. Go to her page and ask her who number one to me. She gonna tell you who number one. She gonna say, Jesus. Are you number one? Nope. I'm not number one. She'll point blank say, no, I'm not number one. Most women want to be number one in a man's life. Sister, you need a man in your life that you number two. You don't go up on the number two, sister. If you, sister, go up on the number two, boo-boo on you. Sister, your role is number two in that man's life, because that man's supposed to be serious, and that man's supposed to commit, and he's supposed to be in a covenant relationship. Just like Jesus. When Jesus want to be in a relationship with a man or woman, Jesus don't string you along. Jesus wants you to make up your mind then. When Jesus knocking on the door, Jesus don't want you going away saying, let me think about it. No, Jesus wants you to make a decision. You either in or out. And brother, that's how you supposed to be with a woman. You either in or out. And sister, that's how you supposed to be with a man. You either in or out when it comes to a relationship. Brother, stop playing with these women. If you don't want to marry the woman, tell her what you want with her. Go ahead and tell her the truth, that I want to use you. Go ahead and say, I just see you as someone that I want to put on her back. Go ahead and tell her the truth. Let her make the decision to be used. Stop lying to these women, brothers. I mean, I hope I'm not talking to you, brother. Stop lying to them just to get them horizontal. Stop lying to them. If you don't see these women, now I'm talking to you, brother. If you don't see these women as a wife, leave them alone. Leave them alone. Don't hurt them, because women are emotional. Don't lie to them. Just be straight up and let them know what your intent is. And if you decide, if this man be straight up with you, sister, and say, look, I just want to see how far this goes. You make that decision to get in that type of relationship. If this man say, I don't want to get married right now, I've been hurt before, you make that decision. And if you know you want to get married, why are you gonna go with him? Why you want to date a man and he letting you know he ain't ready to get married? And I'm going to tell you this before I dip out of here. Brothers and sisters, listen carefully. When you date, this is for you single brothers and sisters, when you date, I have said it before, I'm going to say it again. When you date with purpose. You do not date just to have fun. You can have fun on the date, but you don't date to have fun. I'm talking to you Christian brothers and you Christian sister. When you date, it's all about business. You ain't got to be serious. You can have a good time, but it's about business. You're not there to waste each other's time. You there to see whether or not you all got it to get married. Because you're wasting time. You cannot get back time. So, brother, when you date a woman, you're supposed to date a woman with the intent to see whether or not she wife material. Sister, when you date a man, you're supposed to see whether he husband material. Especially if you have a desire for the opposite sex. That's what you're supposed to be looking for. Two things. Does this brother, this is what you're supposed to do. Does she have a relationship with God? And after she have a relationship with God, do I see her as a wife? And sister, when you date, does he have a relationship with God? And after you see whether or not he have a relationship with God, then you say, do I see being his wife? That's why you date. That's the only reason why you date. Brother, you don't supposed to be dating just to throw your money down, just to throw your money away. That's an investment. Sister, you don't date just to be trying to go out looking good. You don't do that. You got it business. Marriage is a business. Stop looking at that Walt Disney kind of stuff. Marriage is a business. I already told you that, my brother. If you live in the United States, in certain states, you have to get that marriage license, just like you have to get a business license. Business. If you get a divorce, you're going to find out they're going to write up some document for you to sign to get a divorce. And when you go in front of the judge going to want to know about assets and liabilities so he could divide it up. Business is about assets and liabilities. You're going to find out that it's a business. If you don't know, no, I'm telling you, you got to come out of that comic book stuff and look at what's real. Your life with the Lord Jesus is business. You know why I've been in? Because you, brother, and you, sister, you is to get people to come to the Lord to get saved. That's your job, brothers and sisters. That's your job. If you are part of the Lord kingdom, your role, your duty is to recruit people to come to Christ. That's a business. And you have to work. You don't work to be saved. You work because you save. It doesn't take a man over a year to decide whether he wants to marry you. Some of you sisters, what year are you on now? If you be on, and I know some of you all don't like this right now because I'm putting too much salt in it. I'm not putting no sugar in it, am I? I'm putting the salt down in that wound, right? Well, how long you going to be dealing with this man? How long? How long you dealing with this man that refused to marry you? Especially he ain't got God, don't even marry anyway. You shouldn't be dating him. But if the man claimed to have a relationship with the Lord, and you even go to worship with this man, you have the audacity to call this man your hubby. You have the audacity to introduce him to everybody that y'all a couple. You're not no couple. If you're not engaged, move towards marriage, or you're married, you're not a couple. You're playing with each other. If you're just living with each other and you're not engaged, getting married, you're not a couple. You are what they call a free agent. I call it what it is. You're a free agent. If that's all you are, you either a free agent, you engage, or you get married. That's it. If you're single, you're a free agent. That means that you could go sign with any team you want to. That's why I don't see why some people get all bent out of shape when a man walk from a relationship and a woman walk out of a relationship. You weren't married, you weren't engaged, so why are you getting bent all out of shape? You knew the deal. You knew the deal, and your name was not Holyfield, but you knew the deal. If you're single and you're playing with somebody of the opposite sex, you are a free agent. A free agent. Look up the word free agent. You are a free agent. I know some of you are not like that. You are a free agent unless you get engaged, because engaged shows commitment. It's just like when you want to purchase a house. When you purchase a house, you just don't go to the bank or whatever. The mortgage comes and say, I want that house. No, they want what is called a good faith payment. What is a good faith payment? That's showing that you're serious about it. You put some down payment on it. They're called earnest money. So when you give a bank of a mortgage company a certain percentage on the house, they look at it like, hey, they serious about this. Because you committed, you doing something. And look, bro, look, sister, if that man, the man gonna sacrifice for you. He gonna have sacrificial love for you. He gonna love you for who you are, not for what you have. And the same thing, brother. She gonna be sacrifice. She gonna sacrifice. She gonna love you for who you are, not for what you have. Most relationships that you see, my brother and sister, when you look at the United States, there are more people that are playing couples, but they're not couples. They're free agents. It's only a few that want to do it God's way, because, like I said, it ain't but two versions. It's God's way and man's way. You see, God's way is getting married. That's God's way, getting married. Man's way is other than God's way. So who point of view is more important? Is it God's way or man's way? You choose. I love you, brothers. I love you, sister. Thank you so much for being at the dinner table. I hope that you all got something good out of this tonight. Share with some other family members and friends. Those you on the book and on the tool, you make your comments and like. And those you are that on the tool, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, okay? Subscribe and then hit that notification button. I hope that I didn't step on no toe, but I have to be real with you, brother and sister. It doesn't take a man that long to ask a woman to marry him. It should be within a year's time. You cannot keep going years and years being undecisive. You cannot see into the future. You go by, because let me tell you something, brothers and sisters. The person that you meet, that person is going to change every year. They're going to change every year because they're getting older. Their thought process is going to change. You don't think the same way you did 20 years ago. You are a changed man or woman. So therefore, the person that you get in a relationship with, you got to grow together. You're going to continue to grow. You got to understand it, my brother and sister. You got to understand that that man or woman is not perfect. You got to understand that there are going to be storms in a relationship. You're going to understand that it's going to be some sunshine in a relationship. It doesn't take a man over a year to decide whether he's going to marry or not. And I'm being generous. I love you, brother. I love you, sister. You all have a good night. Peace out.